The moment my phone lit up with a million notifications, I knew the fragile web of lies my family had spun around me was unraveling faster than a dropped napkin at a five-star gala. But what I didn't expect was for my own sister, the golden child who'd spent years stepping over me, to be the one to light the match. One jealous tweet, and suddenly the world was chanting my name. #invisible to iconic. If only they'd known how long I'd been waiting for this explosion. Introduction. My name is Lily Sullivan, and for as long as I can remember, I've been the shadow in my family's spotlight. At 32, with a Manhattan condo overlooking the Hudson and a catering empire that feeds the elite, you'd think I'd have outgrown the invisibility cloak they forced on me. But no, my parents, Margaret and Edward Sullivan, built their world around my younger sister, Sarah, the PR princess who could charm a room full of Fortune 500 execs with a single smile. I was the one they called when the oven needed tending, the one whose dreams they dismissed as hobbies. It took one fateful Christmas Eve, a snapped ultimatum, and a flight to Florida to finally step into the light. Little did I know the real fireworks were just beginning, ignited not by me, but by the digital storm Sarah unleashed in her envy. The hum of the private jet's engines was a soothing lullaby as I soared back from Florida, the $2 million Pinnacle hospitality contract tucked safely in my briefcase like a victory trophy. It was December 27th, just past midnight, and the world below twinkled with post-Christmas glow. I'd signed the deal that morning with Victoria Chun herself, her sharp eyes lighting up as she shook my hand. "Lily, you're the real deal," she'd said, her Singaporean accent crisp. "No silver spoon, just steel will. Let's make history." We'd toasted with mimosas overlooking the Atlantic, my team buzzing around us like proud bees. Maria, my head chef, had already started sketching menus for the resorts. James, my ops manager, was crunching numbers for the expansion. For the first time in years, I felt seen, not as the family maid, but as the CEO I'd clawed my way into becoming. My phone had been off during the flight, a deliberate blackout from the chaos I'd left behind in Connecticut. 47 missed calls from Mom, 18 from Sarah, 3 from Dad. The silent patriarch who'd always let Mom's commands do the talking. I powered it on midair, courtesy of the jet's Wi-Fi, and watched the notifications cascade like a digital avalanche. But before the family drama could suck me back in, an email pinged. The final Forbes 40 Under 40 feature, live as of midnight. The cover photo was me, poised in a tailored black pantsuit, hair swept back, a subtle smile that said I'd conquered mountains they didn't even know existed. The headline screamed, "From invisible to invaluable. How Lily Sullivan built a catering empire without a dime from family." I smiled, a quiet thrill bubbling up. No more hiding. I fired off a quick post on LinkedIn and Instagram, professional channels first, where my clients lurked. Grateful for the journey. Stellar Events is just getting started. #Women in Business, #40 Under 40. A photo of the contract signing, Victoria's arm around my shoulder. Simple. Empowering. Then on a whim, I cross-posted to X, formerly Twitter, tagging Forbes and a few industry hashtags. What harm could it do? My followers were mostly colleagues, not family. Or so I thought. By the time the jet touched down at Teterboro, the post had 500 likes. Cute. I grabbed my bags, hailed a car back to Manhattan, and crashed into my king-sized bed. The one Mom still imagined was a futon in a tiny studio. Sleep came easy, dreamless, the kind reserved for women who'd finally chosen themselves. I woke to Armageddon. Not the biblical kind, but the social media equivalent. My phone was a war zone. 12,000 notifications on X alone, emails flooding from reporters, and a string of texts from my PR manager, Elena. "Boss, what did you do? It's trending. Globally." I bolted upright, heart pounding, and opened the app. My post had exploded, retweets in the tens of thousands, quotes pouring in from influencers, CEOs, even a shout-out from a late-night host. But the spark? Not mine. It was Sarah's. Her handle at @SarahSulPRQueen had posted at 2:17 a.m. Family drama alert. My ungrateful sister bails on Christmas to chase dreams, while I schmooze with VIPs. Some people just can't handle real success. #FamilyFirst, #PRLife attached was a blurry photo from the disastrous dinner. Half-eaten takeout on fine china, Mom's forced smile amid empty chairs. The caption continued, "Shout out to @LilySul. Who knew cooking for fun could land you on Forbes? Oh wait, we didn't. Guess invisibility has its perks." #Sibling rivalry, she'd meant it as shade, a petty jab to her 50K followers, painting me as the villain who'd ruined her night. But in her jealousy-fueled haze, she'd linked my Forbes article. And tagged me. And in a stroke of ironic genius, used the hashtag invisible sibling. By morning, X's algorithm had done what Sarah never could. Amplified the truth. Users flipped the script. Wait, at Lily Sull is the Forbes cover girl? And her fam treated her like staff? Hashtag invisible to iconic, the hashtag took off like wildfire. Memes popped up. My cover photo photoshopped onto a superhero cape, captioned the real queen of the kitchen empire. Threads dissected the toxic family dynamic, with therapists chiming in. This is classic golden child/scapegoat syndrome. Lily's win is everyone's win. I stared at the screen, a mix of vindication and vertigo washing over me. Sarah's post had 200K likes, but not for her. The replies were a roast of epic proportions. Girl, your sis is out here signing multi-million deals while you're whining about takeout? Step up. Hashtag invisible to iconic, one viral reply from a comedian. Plot twist. The maid owns the mansion. Sarah, call your agent. This is Emmy Bate. My assistant Jess called first. Lily, you're at 1.2 million impressions. Victoria Chun just quote-tweeted Sarah's post. And oh my god, she tagged your parents. I nearly dropped the phone. Victoria? The unflappable CEO who'd just handed me the keys to her resorts? I scrolled frantically. There it was at Victoria Chun Global, with 1.5 million followers. Her tweet. I was at that networking dinner in CT last night, expecting exquisite service from the Sullivan family. Instead, I got chaos. And a story that inspired me to fly to FL to partner with at Lily Sull. I didn't serve your daughter, she impressed me. Proud to announce, Stellar Events is our exclusive caterer. Hashtag invisible to iconic, hashtag women who lead. She'd attached a photo of us at the signing, champagne flutes raised, and tagged at Margaret Sull CT, mom's rarely used account, and at Edward Sull exec, dad's golf buddy profile. The internet lost its collective mind. Reposts hit 50K in minutes. News outlets pounced. CNN's feed blared Forbes stars family feud goes viral, from kitchen slave to empire builder. The New York Times live tweeted, a tale of sibling rivalry and hidden success unfolds on X. Hashtag invisible to iconic trends worldwide. Even international wires picked it up, BBC. American CEO's Christmas snub sparks global conversation on family toxicity. I sank onto the couch, my silk robe pooling around me like a cape. Part of me wanted to laugh at the absurdity, the rest braced for the fallout. My phone rang, Mom. I let it go to voicemail, watching the notification stack. Then Sarah. Voicemail. Dad's was a text, call us. Now. But I didn't. Not yet. This wasn't my circus anymore. The clowns were performing for the world. By noon, my inbox was a war room. Elena, we've got interview requests from Oprah's team, Good Morning America, and Pod Save America. And Sarah's agency just called. Her biggest client pulled out, citing brand misalignment. I felt a pang, not triumph exactly, but a weary justice. Sarah's world, built on schmoozing and spotlight, was cracking under the weight of her own words. I stepped out for coffee, needing air. Manhattan buzzed with holiday stragglers, but my walk turned heads, strangers nodding, one woman thrusting her phone at me. Are you the Lily? This story, it's everything. I smiled, signing a napkin like an autograph. Back home, I drafted a response tweet, grateful for the love. Success isn't about proving them wrong. It's about building right. More soon. Hashtag invisible to iconic. It garnered 10K likes in an hour. Elena advised holding off on more. Let the wave crest. But the wave? It tsunamied. Hashtag invisible to iconic spawned spin-offs. Hashtag hidden heroes. Hashtag family fail fix. Celebrities jumped in. A singer I'd catered for posted. Lily fed my wedding. Her fam fed her lies. Rooting for you, queen. A tech bro. This is why I cut ties. Build your tribe. Therapists hosted spaces discussions. Brands slid into my DMs for collabs. Empower the invisible campaigns. That evening, as snow flurried outside my floor-to-ceiling windows, the doorbell rang. Jess had warned me. Security's on alert. Paparazzi at the lobby. But this wasn't media. It was Sarah, disheveled, no makeup, her designer coat askew over jeans. Her eyes, usually sharp with calculation, were red-rimmed, mascara-streaked. Lily, she choked, stepping inside without invitation. The condo smelled of fresh croissants from my morning delivery. Irony, given her tweet about my cooking hobby. She collapsed onto the leather sectional, burying her face in her hands. I didn't mean for this. God, what have I done? I stood across the room, arms crossed, the Forbes magazine open on the coffee table like evidence. You posted about me. Linked the article. Tagged everyone. What did you think would happen, Sarah? That your followers would side with the victim? She looked up raw. I was angry. Mom was screaming about the dinner disaster. Victoria leaving after 20 minutes, guests bailing for pizza. And then I saw your post at 3 a.m., the cover, the contract. It hit me. All these years, I thought you were floundering. Mom said you were between jobs. Dad nodded along. I believed it because it made me feel safe, superior. But you're a mogul. And I'm losing everything. Her voice cracked on the last word. I softened just a fraction. Sarah had always been the performer, the one who dazzled while I orchestrated from the shadows. But here, stripped bare, she was just my little sister, 26, terrified of her own reflection. Why didn't you ever ask? I said, sinking beside her. 5 years, Sarah. Stellar Events catered your engagement party. Under a shell company, sure, but it was me. I sent leads your way through back channels. Never took credit. Because that's what family does, right? Helps without the scorecard. She wiped her eyes. I know. God, the article. It mentioned the anonymous tips for my first big client. That was you. I thought it was luck. Mom always said you were jealous, that you'd sabotage me. Mom said a lot of things that weren't true. I poured us tea chamomile, her favorite from childhood. Like how my room became your closet. Or that my travels were vacations on your dime. I built this alone because begging for scraps from home felt small. We sat in silence, the city lights flickering like distant stars. Outside, flashes popped, paparazzi no doubt. Sarah glanced at her phone, wincing. Victoria's tweet, she tagged Mom and Dad. They're freaking out. Dad called a family summit for tomorrow. But, Lily, the agency's dropping me. That energy drink campaign? Gone. They said my personal brand is toxic now. I nodded, no gloat in it. Karma's a catered meal. Tastes better when served cold. She laughed, a broken sound. Can I stay here? Just tonight? I can't face them alone. I hesitated, then nodded. Couch is yours. But tomorrow we face this together. No more hiding. Sleep evaded me that night. Sarah snored softly in the guest room. I'd upgraded her from the couch out of pity. My mind raced through timelines. The Christmas call, Mom's laugh at my fantasy CEO claim, Sarah's $200 bribe for cooking. The plane lifting off as Connecticut shrank below. I'd chosen freedom then. Now the world had chosen exposure for me. Morning brought a deluge. GMA wanted a joint interview, Sisters Unite, from feud to Forbes. Elena negotiated. Live from my office, no holds barred. Sarah agreed, pale but resolute. Maybe, this is my pivot. PR for underdogs like you. The summit was virtual first. Mom and Dad on Zoom from the Connecticut manse, faces ashen. Mom's hair, usually impeccable, had escapee strands. Dad fiddled with his tie. Lily, Sarah, we've seen the news. Sarah jumped in, voice steady. It's out, Dad. All of it. The room, the introductions, the kitchen duty. We were wrong. Mom's eyes welled. I thought I was protecting you, Sarah. Pushing you forward. Lily was capable. Always had been. Capable? I echoed, camera on. That's code for invisible, Mom. 15 years of Lily will handle it, while Sarah shone. But I'm done shrinking. Dad cleared his throat. We're proud, Lily. Truly. Edward Sullivan doesn't say that lightly. Proud. The word hung unfamiliar. We talked raw, halting. Apologies tumbled. Mom for the blindness, Dad for the silence, Sarah for the shade. No magic fix, but a start. Public statement? Elena prompted off camera. They nodded. By afternoon, the family tweet dropped at Sullivan Family CT. We've reflected on our story in the spotlight and the shadows we cast. To at Lily Sull, you're our star. We apologize publicly for the years we undervalued you. Family evolves. Hashtag invisible to iconic. It retweeted Victoria's post, a olive branch in pixels. The GMA spot aired live at 3 p.m. Sarah and I side by side in my boardroom, skyline backdrop. Robin Roberts leaned in. Lily, walk us through the snap. I did. Christmas Eve, the call, the flight. Sarah interjected. I was blind. Jealous. My tweet was ego, but it backfired beautifully. Lily's not just my sister, she's my mentor now. Robin turned to her. And the breakdown? Sarah's eyes glistened. Seeing her empire, it shattered my mirror. I chased connections, she built them. We're launching a joint venture. PR meets catering for invisible women. Events that spotlight unsung heroes. The reveal landed like confetti. Viewers flooded with hearts. Hashtag Sullister Sisters trended. Victoria texted mid-show, nailed it. Resorts ready for your Invisible Women launch event. Post-interview, Sarah hugged me fierce real. Thank you for not cutting me out. Family's messy, I said. But worth the plating. Weeks blurred into momentum. Stellar Events announced the new branch. Invisible Plates, a non-profit arm funding catering startups for overlooked women, single moms, late bloomers, shadows like I'd been. Applications poured in. Maria mentored the first cohort. Sarah's pivot firm, Iconic Shadows PR, handled the buzz, her client list rebounding with purpose-driven brands. Mom and Dad visited Manhattan in February, awkward but earnest. Dad marveled at the office, bigger than our firm. Mom, teary over tea. I hung your old trophies back up. In the hall, not the basement. Forgiveness isn't a switch, it's a slow simmer. But dinners became regular. No kitchens for me, just equal seats at the table. Sarah crashed often, brainstorming over takeout, irony noted. One night, scrolling X, I saw #InvisibleToIconic still humming. User stories of hidden wins, viral justice. My original post? 5 million impressions. Victoria's partnership? Thriving, with Invisible Plates catering their first retreat. I'd gone from family servant to viral icon, not by revenge but revelation. Sarah's mistake was my megaphone, the world's echo my chorus. And in the quiet moments, folding linens, not for them, but for me, I whispered thanks. To the snap, the flight, the tweet. To the invisibility that taught me to shine.